live on the Golden Square podcast.
Ooh, this is Linda. This is Barry. And when you come to the round table, you square off with the girl. Square off. Square off.
Ooh. Okay, so did y'all saw me hug Barry and he wasn't there. But anyway, so listen, thank you so much for joining me with Barry in spirit again. I promise you he'll be here next week. He just had some little personal things that he had to put the icing on, and it'll be okay. So with that being said, how's everybody's day going? Because my day has been going, it's been going crazy because I don't have my buddy next to me, but I am here for you. So let's get into what today's subject is all about. So we have a beautiful young lady out of Atlanta here to give you all the information that you need to know about funding. And when I say funding, I'm talking about how to start up your organization, when to ask questions about grants and all that good stuff. So without any further ado, did I tell y'all, let's bring her in and let's get this party started.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Trina. So, Trina,
Hey.
how do you pronounce your last name?
It is Fitten, like, well, my husband say don't do that, but I say with kitten, like kitten with an F.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to say, I was like, am I going to say it incorrectly? But welcome to the Golden Square podcast. I am super excited to have you here. I wish my partner in crime was here for this segment, but yeah. He's not. He's here in spirit. So say hi to Barry's spirit. But anyway.
Hello.
Okay. So Trina, tell us a little about yourself before we really get into this.
Yes. Thank you once again for and obviously having me here on the podcast. This is an amazing honor. I thank you so much. But yes, my name is Katrina Fitten. I am the CEO and founder of New Day for You Financial, and we are a funding firm that helps businesses to buy a business, to buy property, to start a business, grow your business, scale your business to the next level. And so we are an advisory funding firm that helps you to acquire those funds in order to fund your dream. So that's what it's all about. We literally are doing God's work. It is our assignment. If you have a vision, we always say, we got the provision.
Wow, that's amazing. When I saw all this, I'm like, oh no, what I'm going to talk about? It's so much to this. And then looking at some of my notes after researching you, it's for me, what makes someone truly effective in your role as a funding person? What does a funding person do for them?
Right. So we are a funding advisory firm. Essentially, the way I can explain to people who can help me to understand would be, for example, if you are going to plan for retirement, you would hire a financial planner, right? Mm-hmm. If you were going to go to court, you could go to court on your own. However, it's wise for you to hire an attorney. So it's like you can, obviously you can have a accountant, or you can do your accounting on your own. So that's what we do. We help you to acquire funds for your business, as well as we educate our clients on how to acquire funds and become a better business owner. And it's all about allowing our client to understand, number one, do they have a mission for the money, right? Mm-hmm. And then once we understand what their mission is and what they're trying to do, what we do is we walk that client through all of the steps in order to acquire the funds that they need. And essentially, we help them to do it by rounds, is what we call it. You have a first round of funding, your second round of funding, or your third round of funding, and helping you throughout your vision. And so a lot of companies, we're on their board. And so we're there to help them to raise funds.
But what's the difference between the funding and an accounting? Is there a difference in that?
Oh my God. Yes, it's very important, but they go hand in hand. Like they're all on the same, like we always say in our community, they're all on the financial team, right? And so to put together what we call a financial dream team, you're going to have your financial planner, which is going to help you with retirement, right? To prepare for when you finish working, you retire. You're going to have a financial advisor who's going to help you to acquire funds for your business throughout each stage of business. You're going to have an accountant. They're going to help you with the books, right? They're going to help you with the bookkeeping. They're going to make sure that you have enough money to cash flow the whole month, make sure that you're profitable. They're going to do your financial statements. They're going to, like, for example, your bookkeeper, they're going to work alongside the accountant. And so we work alongside the accountant to say, these are the things we need in order for them to qualify for the funding. And so we are presenting them to the banks and making sure that they are fundable. So that's what we're doing. We're literally walking them through that process.
So, but when does an organization know it's time to look for a funder or funding, however you put it in that terminology? So can I just, okay, I'm going to start a business, and then I think now we need to get somebody with some funds. Is that how it goes? What steps do you do first?
Yes. So there are 5 stages of the funding process. I always say on the first stage, when you are beginning an organization or a company, the first stage you want to have a proven concept, right? You have a problem that you solve, you have a product that you sell, and or you have a service that you're going to provide to your clients. So you want to make sure that it's proven first, right? Because you don't want to acquire funds until you have a proven concept. So I always say that's stage 1. On stage 1, you want to do the testing with your own money, right?
Yes.
I always say, make sure you prove the concept, you test it. You know, like, for example, I always tell, I have a person who wanted to start a food truck business. Well, we want to make sure that you have essentially taken those plates and you sold to individuals first, right? And then you might want to go to a test kitchen and a pop-up, right? And then you want to go to do a buffet and, you know, do some parties, you know, get you hired at different events. Then you want to go into getting a food truck, getting a restaurant lease, you know, building. Because when you have a food truck, that's overhead. When you have a lease building, that's overhead. So you want to really test to make sure, because what you're doing in that first stage, you're identifying which other products that are profitable. What is that that your client or your customer want? Because you may find out that, you know what, nobody really wants this particular food product. And you need to identify, oh, these are the top 5 things that we should put on our menu because those are the best sellers. Those are the things that's going to make us profitable. And so then you start on stage 2. That's when you want to start reaching out to a funding advisor to say, now that we've proved the concept, we've done the numbers, as the Bible says, we want to count up the costs, right? Yeah. And so once you count up the cost, see what it costs to the cost of goods, you know, how you're going to be profitable, then you acquire funds to be able to help you to essentially do your startup or help you to do help working capital, or to help you with a team, so that you can hire people with payroll, so you would get essential services that you need in order to do business. And so I say to everybody all the time, at the beginning stages, you don't really want to start the funding process until you have a real proven concept, because you want to be able to infuse those funds into a project that's going to be profitable on the back end, if that makes sense.
It does. And I was going to ask that question. What is the common mistake that organizations make?
That is a common mistake. You are exactly right. And that's what we do. Again, I always tell people, it's just like, for example, I'll tell this story. Like my husband, I was coming in from an event, and I drove up to the house, and I noticed that the yard looks very manicured. It was beautiful, but I looked at the hedges. Okay, I looked at the hedges, and I'm like, why are the hedges all over the place? And I say, babe, what's going on? I like the yard, it's edged properly and manicured. I said, but why is he not taking care of the hedges? And he was like, that's extra. I'm like, what you mean that's extra? I'm like, that's a part of doing the yard. He said, no, that's I tell you what, I got a hedger in there in the garage. I can do them hedges. I don't have to pay him. I'm like, what the world? I'm like, okay, you do you, right? Do you, boo? And I see him, he's out in the garage, all on YouTube, trying to put the hedger together, because it's been stuff, he haven't used it in a while. And he literally, I'm like, what is he doing? And he started putting it off. He started procrastinating because he didn't understand how to put it together to where it worked properly. And so one day I was like, babe, when are you going to take care of the hedges? Next week, babe, when are you going to take care of the hedges? Okay. And one day I look out the window. I'm like, I hear some noise outside. I looked out the window. Okay. Now here he is out there trying to do the hedging. And I'm like, oh my God. So I went about my business. So he's out there hedging the yard, right? And all of a sudden I hear a noise coming through the window. Oh my God. I'm like, what's going on? He's holding his hand. He's holding his hand, bleeding. I'm like, what in the world are you doing? No, that's okay. I got pressure on it. I'm doing fine. I'm fine. And so obviously we took care of it and everything. But this is the lesson that I learned from that. I always tell people, while you going out there trying to do a DIY all on YouTube University, trying to figure it out, why don't you just hire the master if you want to go faster? Hire someone who's an expert versus you trying to go figure it out and put it together. We don't like to look at instructions.
Okay. We want to see the picture. We want to see the picture. Let me look at the picture. How it's supposed.
Exactly. And for you want to know why it's wobbling, what's going, ain't working properly. Exactly. And so that's what I tell people. It's like, once you go out there and you have a proven concept, you have a mission that you know that the people do need your help, right? You've done the work, you've done some events, it's successful. Now you come back and say, okay, let's go ahead. You got testimonies of how you maybe help somebody pro bono, you're doing the work, and you come back and say, now I need you to put fuel on the fire. The funding is the fuel that you can put on the fire. Now you can impact more people, because now that funding is going to bring revenue and it's going to bring profit. And now you can take that profit and pay those funds off as quick as possible, especially the funds that you use that you're getting from banks, right? Because you want to pay that off, and there's no early prepayment fee. So you want to get that profit and pay it off. And so that's the things that we do. We help you to be presented to the banks, and we know how to make sure that you are approved. So we make sure you have your business plan proper. We do all the numbers, the projections. We said, okay, we showed them, hey, this is how we know they're going to be profitable. And just like today, I just worked with a young gentleman who has sober homes, and where people who are coming out of prison, or they have, obviously different addictions. And he has these sober homes where he has counselors that are working, that the city is essentially paying him for these sober homes. And he said, all I need, Katrina, is I need at least 6 months of payroll for my team. So what I did, working with him, getting his vision, bringing clarity on what it is that he's trying to do, putting the numbers together, presenting him to the bank. And just today, before I got on this call, I got a message from him saying we just got pre-approved for $97,000 line of credit in his business name. And so he's going to be opening up his new sober home next month. And now he has a full 6 months of payroll for the people that are working for his team. That's what Fitten will do when you have a proven business model.
So the first thing we have to do is get a business plan. Is that correct?
Yes, we want to put a business plan. And I'm not saying you have to have an extensive business plan, as long as you have, the basics. Right nowadays, you can use Chat GPT. Okay. So it's just putting the plan together. What is your mission? What is the problem you solve? What are the services you provide? What are the products you sell? Just a simple, and then it can put together like a simple budget. You bring the bones of that to us, and we obviously make it more robust and present it to the banks and lending institutions and investors, and essentially make sure that you're able to qualify, and then we work with them through underwriting to acquire those funds. And it's just really about being structured properly. It's not about someone just doing something on the side that's not structured properly. We want to make sure you have a legal entity, making sure you have, your paperwork in place. You have a website, you have social presence, you have an address, a phone number, you have all the proper things. We have a structure that we go through to make sure you have all those things in place, because we're not funding ghetto businesses. Okay. We're funding businesses for people who have an assignment, and they are on a mission, and they are about God's kingdom business. Those are the people that we help.
So when you say, because I'm looking at a lot of things saying a physical address, or could they have a PO box as well? And on top of that, am I to get volunteers first to help me with this right here before I come to a funder? So
yes,
how do we do all this?
So let's talk about it. So the first thing, so I'm talking about for-profit businesses. So for-profit business, the first thing that you want to do is you want to identify your business's name, right? Your business name. And so your business name, you don't just randomly name your business. And so the reason why, because they have something called high-risk businesses. So you want to be very, very clear on how to name your business, because, for example, you want to name it where, like the name of the example that the guy that just got their funding, that you want to have it. It was like a name. It was like Elmer Homes, right? So that was the name of the business. And from there, what you want to do is you want to go onto your Secretary of State and do a search. Is this available? Right? And after you do that, I also think this is something else people may not think about. Go over on the USTP, the trademark office. And if someone has that name already trademarked, right? That's another thing, because sometimes people will go to the Secretary of State, get them an LLC, limited liability corporation, pay for all of that money, and then somebody already has that name trademark. And you
Wow.
build a business that somebody has already got trademark, and you're going to end up getting a letter in the mail to cease and desist. Stop
Wow.
using that name, and when you making money off of it, and you got to start back over. So that's something that I always tell people. You want to make sure that you trademark your name. It's your intellectual property, and you want to make sure that your name is trademarked.
Okay, I'm
Last
trying to
thing
write
you
some
do is
notes.
start a business, start making money, and then you got to
Yeah,
start over because that name is
start
not tradable. Because the thing, it can be available for the state,
right.
but a trademark is federal.
That's okay. So now let's talk about nonprofit.
Yes.
So does a funding expert evaluate the say the I don't know how we want to say it. How do you evaluate for a nonprofit? Are they available? Are they able to receive funding?
Right. So a nonprofit funding is obviously it's really similar.
Mm,
Some people don't realize it. So the only difference is sometimes the misconception about nonprofit funding is you think that I don't have to be structured properly. But
mm,
once you get your 501c3 or whatever version that you have, you want to make sure that your business is structured properly as well. You want to
yeah.
still trademark those names. You still want to have a website. You still want to have social presence out there. You still want to have your business phone number, your business email. You
Right.
still want to have those
Right.
structures in place because what happens when you're going for, and we help you to put together your grant proposal. We help you to put together your business plan for your nonprofit.
Wow.
There's a lot of research that you need to do because you want to find out what is the problem that you're serving and how does that impact your community. And by way of your services and what you do, how are you impacting the statistics of that area?
That's right. That's
So
right.
you want to, do that. And then another really good tip that we do for our clients
Mm,
is that we tell them, because as you already know, the difference between for-profit funding and non-profit funding is that the for-profit funding is much easier to acquire because obviously we are doing it by way of your credit or your revenue or your collateral. So those are how you're getting qualified for for-profit funding. But for nonprofit, they're looking at your mission, with the problem that you're serving, what the impact that you will have. But the real pro tip that I always do for we do our clients for grant funding is that we tell them you want to stand out when you apply
right.
funding.
Girl,
And the that
that
we do, if you're filling out the application, sending in your paperwork, uploading your proposal, and everybody doing the same thing, you're looking just like everybody else. What we tell our clients to do, put together a grant proposal video.
oh,
Video.
oh,
So when you apply, you send in to them a video, you explaining the problem that you solved, how you
mm,
made impact. Maybe add a testimony, maybe add some B-roll and BTS of you at your convention or your event and how
okay.
you are impacting. You're interviewing the people that you've helped. That is the difference between you just sending a grant proposal and you getting the funding.
Wow, that's interesting. That's very so. What advice do you have for health nonprofit, especially those who are working with cancer?
Yes. So this is the thing. So obviously, any organization that is dealing with, health, as you already know, different types of health issues are a major issue in certain communities, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
if you do your homework and you gather the statistics in
Mhm.
your specific area, all
Right.
right, what are
Mhm.
the statistics? And talk with other organizations that are doing the same thing. Go on their websites, interview them, talk to them, and gather information. And what I always tell people is oftentimes a better way to attain funding is to do a collaboration.
Right.
Come
Right.
together. Come
Right.
together because you're trying to solve the same problem. So if you
Right.
collab with other organizations who may already be in the door, who have
Mhm.
already obtained grants, who've already got a what I call already got favor, I call
Right.
that I call
Right.
that relationship capital. It may
Mm.
not be money, but it's relationship come because as you already know,
Yeah.
is way better than money.
So, and speaking of that, when you said collaborate, that's that could be, and I'm saying cancer, that could be like Houston has one of the better, so they say, cancer research centers and all that. So, would you advise someone who's working with a cancer organization to go to one of the hospitals to
Mhm.
collab with them, or are we just going to find another organization to
Mhm.
come together? So which would
Exactly.
you
So let me tell you an example of my
okay.
company, right? I
Mhm.
have another company called Master Your Mind and Your Money. It's a financial education company, right? And
Right.
so as a volunteer, so this is the key. Listen to this.
Mhm.
One of the first things that can help, this is what I did.
Mhm.
I went to I have a passion for those that are in domestic violence shelters, right?
Right.
Because I
Right.
had a real close friend of mine who I obviously was a victim of domestic violence, and so I have a
Mhm.
real hard passion for those individuals, and so
Mhm.
I know that the number one reason for victims to continue to stay in these types of situations has everything to do with financial abuse. Me as
Wow.
a certified master coach,
Mhm.
wrote a letter to all of the domestic shelters in my area
Mhm.
and had a few to reach back out. And what I said in the letter, I said, hey, I would love to come volunteer and teach financial literacy to your clients because I
Wow.
know it's a number one reason why people stay in those situations, right?
Right.
If they had
Right.
financial literacy, maybe, and show them how to do their finances, maybe they could be in a position where they would have financial safety. And
Right.
so after one of them reaching out, and I went out to do financial coaching for pro bono, right?
Mhm.
Giving back. And I began to do financial coaching every month in that organization, right?
Right.
And
Right.
I ended up getting a call. One of the ladies who worked there, she's a part of a bigger organization.
Listen,
Okay.
yeah.
And she
Yeah.
called me because why? I've done the work. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Now I was in the door. Once I
Mm.
door, now she says, Katrina, we have a big grant
Big- Right.
given us. The bigger organization has been given a huge grant, and as a portion of that grant, we're using it for financial coaching experts, and I
Mm.
recommend you. They called me. We ended up collaborating to do financial coaching. So I was a benefactor of the grant by way of association, right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so we're able to help over 60 women in that organization as financial coaching, and now that has become a profit center for us. That's how I was able to get grant funding through that organization, was by way of them paying me.
Mm.
You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? To
Yeah.
help And by that, I'm able to help even more to be able to, reduce the financial literacy of those that are in domestic violence situation. They're in helping those to less people to get in those situations because
Mhm.
now they won't return back to their abuser now. You see how that works. So you're helping the people that you're trying to help by collaborating. And so you just have to get your foot in the door and just say like, hey, we're helping people in this area. How can
Right.
you help this? Go to the hospital and talk about how we would love to work with you. They get
Right.
grant funding by the millions, and they will pay you to be able to help your cause. That's how
Wow.
you get to know. So you either get by, and then later on, what happens is now you're able to collect testimonials and credibility and more notoriety. And now all of a sudden you're part of their be real or
Yeah.
you're on their video now. And
Right.
now you're able to put that into your proposal and how you're making major impact. And you can take the numbers that they're doing at that hospital because now you're part of the team.
That's right. So is that the best way of storytelling to get funding? Is that how we
Yes, that is the way to do it. It's all about storytelling. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's how grant funding works. You have to appeal to their heart. That's why I say the video works, is because if you had a testimonial of how you were able to impact them by giving them this information and they did this preventive care and it saved the next generation, and someone's telling that testimony on that video,
Wow.
you think the person that just did the application and they see your video, who's they gonna call back? They're gonna call you back
That's
because
right.
you have storytelling and you have the results, and they're going to give you more funding as a result of it.
So that way, and I'm still in the cancer and I'm still on the nonprofit. So beginning, I got to get everything all lined up. This is what we do. This is how we can do this. And then we're going to make contact with one of the hospitals in reference to cancer and say, hey, I've had it. Can I come in and speak with your people who are going through it? And then we're having the storytelling next. I love the storytelling part. The storytelling of I've had this and I've visited whatever hospital or urgent care or whatever, and we've spoken with people who are going through the same thing that I have, and I don't want nobody else to feel what I've been going through. So, girl,
that is it, and that's on that video. And I promise you, if they click on that video and they look at that video and they're in tears, they feel you have to say, because most of those grants are coming from organizations who are passionate about what you're passionate about. And they have foundations and funds that people are giving just so, especially the wealthy, how we do it. You notice I say how we do it is that we take our funds and we put them into foundations because it's a tax write-off. And so a lot of those funds, they go unfunded sometimes because they really can't find anybody to give those funds away. So the perfect time to do that is really a time when you apply. Obviously, most of those grants have deadlines, right? And so to give that video along with that, and also another good pro tip to help is also interview and call the people who got the grant last year or the last time.
Oh, the last time. So you want to be connected to everybody girl, you better come on here with this info. That is amazing. So it's all about communication with whomever.
Exactly. It's all about relationships. You have to talk and network. You already know your network is your net worth. You have to get out, out of the couch, off the couch, from behind the computer, and go start talking to people, reaching out to people. Hey, let's do a lunch and learn, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person. Get to know that person. Also, another pro tip, okay? Go to their event. Go to the hospital's events that they have. Go to the person who got the grant last time. Go to their event. Find out who's over that organization or that particular project. Just getting to know people and just say, hey, you're trying to help in this area. I'm trying to help in this area. Let's come together.
Right. So when I'm going, and I'm using me as an example, when I'm going to these different organizations saying, hey, I am doing, and I'm going to stick to colon cancer. Okay. Let me just keep that clear. So I'm saying to them, I am working with colon cancer in the less fortunate communities, and I'm here to help because I know this is what you do and you do well. So how do you become as one?
Yeah, you go to serve. You go to serve. How can I help? That's how you start out. First, you start out, how can I help?
Yes.
Right. That's what I did. I went to say, how can I help?
Okay.
Right. And then once they see that, oh, she's willing to serve and help, whatever that is, help with their event, help with their whatever how can I serve? Right. And then once you serve and they get to know, hey, they're really passionate just like we are, then that allows you to be able to then say, you know what? We're having an event. Why can't y'all come to our event? Or you start to learn about how was y'all able to get such and such grant. And sometimes they will teach you, hey, well, this is what we did. This is how we did it, those types of things. And you have to have a positive mindset, right? Don't go to the negative. They ain't going to do nothing. Well, if you believe they ain't going, that's exactly what's going to happen. But you have to believe if you are on an assignment and God has given you the dream, the vision, the assignment, God will align you with the right people to give you what it is that you need to take care and impact the problem that you serve. That's how it happens. It's just, you end up at the right place at the right time, talking to the right person, and opens up the door for you.
Right. You're absolute girl. We're going to be here until tomorrow because this is getting juicy for me. I'm telling you, I'm loving every bit of it. So look, to my viewers, if you have any questions pertaining to funding, this is the lady to come to right now. Get your questions so we can make some things happen for you. I am looking at when you do the lunch and learn, of course, now we're going to record that. We're going to add that to everything that we do. We're going to put it on the website. Am I correct?
Yes, 100%. It's all about storytelling and it's all about social media presence. Because let me tell you something. This is very simple, but people miss it all the time. The first thing that organization where you are applying to get funding from a grant for, guess what they're going to do? They're going to Google you.
Oh, Google. Yes.
They're going to Google you. Come on now. I mean, why would they give you 10,000, 50,000, 80,000, 100,000 in grant funding and you don't even have a social footprint?
So how am I creating my Google following?
So your SEO, right? Search engine optimization. So essentially, the first thing that you need to do is, first of all, have your website optimized properly, that it shows up with different keywords, right? So when people Google you, your website come up. If you are helping those that have, with colon cancer, then you want to be able to get up high in the search. If someone go Google, hey, how can I get help with a funding, or how can I get help with colon cancer, association. You want your website to come up near the top, right?
Okay. Right.
Also, the name of your organization, you want to go and Google your name of your organization. You want something to come up. You want your IG post to come up. You want your Facebook group to come up. You want your website to come up. You want what events you've been doing on YouTube to come up. You want those things that you've been doing in the industry and in your organization. You want those things to come up, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to research you. They're looking for a return on their investment, and they want to make sure that you are someone that we're going to give these funds to, and we know it's going to be put to use.
So do I Google me first? Oh, wait a minute. Let me ask that other question. So in Googling myself, should I do that on a weekly basis, or do I have to Google myself, or how do I know?
So that's the thing. So a lot of time, oftentimes, obviously, because, we're known for different things, right? We have different things that we're known for. However, if you put the name of your organization in Google, you want something to come up. So I just ask everybody to, your organization, Google your organization. What comes up?
Okay.
Start a YouTube channel. Google, and then obviously when someone Googles about colon cancer, your YouTube channel is going to come up in the feed.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I have a client that just started a business helping senior citizens, right? And so I taught her, I walked her through. You need to get your website. You need to and make sure your website is nice, right? Because again, if you're I'm just going to be frank. If your stuff looking ghetto, nobody is giving you funds. Right. So you want to make sure that you have a social footprint. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to do social media. Well, let me tell you something. You personally may not want to do social media, but your business does. Because it's called marketing. It's called advertisement.
And that's it. The marketing part of having everything in place.
So that's why you have to do your IG post. That's why you have to do your Facebook post. That's why you have to do your YouTube, and your streaming, your podcast, or your whatever it is. You want to have a marketing plan on how you are getting your name out there. Because I'm telling you, before anybody give you fund, I know some people may be discouraged. I've applied for grants. Ain't nobody responded. I've replied, but guess what? You're not applying often enough, and you don't have the expert working with you to make sure you're doing it in an impactful and effective way. And so that's what it's about. Because
if I come to you as an example, if I come to you and go, okay, so Katrina, this is what I want to do. The first thing that we go, oh my gosh, she's going to charge me an arm and a leg. So I don't come to you.
Remember I told you it's called DIY, or you can have an expert. You can do like my husband, go out there on YouTube University, try to figure out how to do it, and go out there and end up cutting yourself. And then you have to start back over and go ahead and pay the man the extra $25.
Okay. So I'm just trying to make it plain so that everybody can understand. That's normally something that someone always say, oh, it's going to cost too much. I'm not investing in my business.
If you want to go faster, you got to hire the expert, the master. If you want, you can go to court on your own. You can present your own case. You can go in there, tell the judge, tell the jury, and represent yourself. Because why? You're trying to save a nickel.
And then you're going on to jail.
You're on your way to jail. Right? Or you can get an expert who knows the law, who knows how to make sure that is no reasonable doubt. Okay. And you'd win the case. You have to pay to play. Every
part,
business, you have to invest at the level that you expect results. Let me say that again. You want
Yes.
to invest at the level that you expect results. I tell people all the time, you can go inside the bank and go try to see if you can get the funds. You can go and fill out your application to try to go get your grants. You can do all of it on your own, but if you want to get the results, the maximum results, and you want to be more efficient and quicker, you need to make sure you're hiring an expert.
Okay. So first of all, to get all this started, we got to go and I almost said practice on somebody, but we first have to go out and introduce ourselves to everyone as this is what we're about to do. Let me give you, and I'm still in the colon because I do believe early detection saves lives, but trying to get the word out, we have to establish our social media first.
Yes, you want to get, we call it a social footprint, meaning that if someone Googles your name, something comes up, right? Because that says, hey, they're doing something, because they're not going to give anybody money who's not doing anything.
Right. And
then
I'm going to go, my next step is to go volunteer.
Exactly.
Somebody's function. I don't know who. You're doing something, let me help. Yeah.
Somebody's function. And then you want to do something on your own. You do an event as well. And then make sure you're capturing those moments. Get you a phone and somebody caption what you're doing. Do a blog. Blog, talking to, the behind the scenes of what's going on with the event, interview and get testimonials from the attendees who's at the block party, whatever the thing. And you're partnering with doctors, you're partnering with a hospital, you're partnering with the clinic in the community, just all of those things. You want to be able to tell the story. And so they see, wow, we want to add some fire, some fuel to this fire, and we see what they're doing, because no one wants to help anybody who's not doing anything. They just doing a whole lot. I always say, you dreaming, but you need to wake up, okay? And start doing something.
So, Madam Producer, I saw a comment or two. Can we reflect on that, please?
Yeah, I think that folks are just really in agreement. Nolan said people want millions without investing nothing. Like you have to invest in your business.
Right.
People are just grateful for the information. Ramona, it's good to know some of the things that you were talking about. And I did have a question. Does a trademark only work for this country?
So there are two types. Okay, so the main type most people get is federal for this country, but you can also upgrade to a global trademark as well. It depends on what
that
impact. Yes.
Do you recommend a global trademark?
Well, most people don't get the global trademark until they get to a certain level. Yeah. So if you're just impacting your local city, I think you'll be okay with just the federal, right? But when you start going global and international, and your name, you're going across the water, impacting and doing these events in international places, then it's time for you to get that global trademark before you penetrate that market. I always tell people is the best place to start is in your city first. Then you take from the city and you go perhaps to the county. I know every state has their parishes, different things, but you just want to do your local area, your neighborhood, your local area, your city, and then you go statewide. Then you go, go across the country, east, west, north. You want to start in your local area and make those impact, because you are obviously it's your area. And that's what I did, is I started in my area, you know what I'm saying? And then it went to the city, so it keeps going on and on. So I just didn't want anybody to miss out on, realizing that if you're going to go the nonprofit route, it is not promised, right? Because you apply for grants and it can be a long road. It's almost like the lottery, right? But you can do some things to make you stand out, like storytelling and video and social presence that will make you stand out more than the others. And that can help you to be in the second round when they start, because how it works is they will pick their first round of people they want to interview, or and then if you get to the second round, they know that they're fixed to pick between you and the top 3 or what have you, so you just want to really have things done professionally, because they can tell if it was done with Chat GPT.
It's
last question.
It's amazing. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, the last question. Folks wanted you to define ghetto business to make sure we don't have ghetto business.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, ghetto business I would consider. And I'm going to step on some toes. I'm so sorry. I'm the first time guest. But if you got a Gmail for your nonprofit or your business, you ghetto.
Oh, okay.
Or AOL. Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry. Cloud. I'm sorry. So
that's okay, but you're teaching them. So
yes. You want to have a business. So you want to go to, I'm not, ain't nobody paying me no sponsoring. But for example, you go to GoDaddy, when you get your URL, your website, it says you want an email, right? So you want your email. So like for my email, my company is New Day For You Financial, right? .com. Well, my team and we have an email. It's called contact@NewDayForYou Financial for my team.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Info at, you want to have something.
Right.
And so when the grant board or the bank, they see you applying and you have a Gmail, they're thinking you a person. What does a business need? Why would you have a Gmail?
Okay, you did it.
Again, making you look professional and very, very, where you're standing out.
Right.
You don't, because
that's what you want to do, is to stand out from everybody
else. They're looking at thousands and hundreds of applications. What would make you stand out? And if it can be something as a hair of this company got a Gmail, like, are they really professional?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or your phone number is your cell
number.
Your cell number. You don't have a 1-800 number. You don't have a business number. I go to Google. You don't have a Google business account.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So you want to look as professional as possible. And so the reason, going back to that P.O. box you were telling me about, that's a no. I'm so sorry. It's a little GHETTO, because you want to have a organization where they can say they Google it and it's a building.
Yes.
Even if it's a suite, you can go to Regis, Alliance virtual offices. You can purchase a virtual address. So there can be an address, suite number, and then when you Google it, it's a building or a where you can look and be like, oh, her business, her organization is in that building. You see what I'm saying? Those are the things that make you stand out. And so if I'm stepping on your toes and you be like, oh, that may be why I'm not getting any response to my application, it's because, you're look ghetto. And they like, no, look ghetto business, they don't need but a few $100s. Y'all be all right.
Girl.
You big. You want to get with the experts so you can get thousands and multiple thousands of dollars. Right? Yeah. And the other thing is that sometimes you have to start small. Maybe you should get this $10,000 grant. And then once you steward it properly, then you can get the $50,000 grant, and you steward it properly. Too much is given, much is required.
That's right. That's right.
Do you have the capacity? to steward $50,000 in your company. You don't even have a business plan. What do you mean you need $50,000? What you gonna do with it? Pay off your bills? You gotta have a mission for your money.
Yes, Trina.
Yes.
Trina,
Yes.
we gotta have a part two. We gotta have a part two. Trina, we gotta have a part two because our time is almost up. But how can people contact you for further information?
Look, I have given the team a link right there. I'm on IG as Money Coach Katrina Fitten, as you can see right there on the screen. I go live every Wednesday teaching about money and money conversations. Me and my good client, who she has one of my clients. I go live with one of my clients who's gotten over $500,000. But yes, we also have a website at newdayforyoufinancial.com. But as you can see that if you go to swiy.co /business capital, that's swiy.co /business capital, you can apply and we can get you pre-approved. We can walk you through the process and put together a funding strategy plan for your business, whether it's for profit or nonprofit. We are here to fund dreams.
Oh my God, this has been such a great evening. And I'm telling you, we have to go. We have to come back. Part two. We got to do part two. Please say you come back. Thank you for your time.
When the other host is back, when he's back.
Okay. Right. So we can go ahead and get all this together. So we're going to arrange that to happen as well. But now it's time for my 2 cents. I hope I can get it in, but I don't want you to go. I want you to stay with me. So our 2 cents is Rosemary Johnson Colon Cancer Awareness Foundation is having a fundraiser on this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. And the Colon Cancer Awareness Foundation is raising money so that she can help others not go through what she's been through. And colon cancer is early detection, save lives. It can be preventable. And we would love for you all to join us to raise as much money as we possibly can for the organization. Saturday, August the 15th. Okay. So Trina, I understand that your father passed from colon cancer.
Yes. Oh my God. Probably about 16 years ago, maybe even 18 years ago at this point. Literally, I can remember like it was yesterday. My father called me. He was like, hey, I'm going through this chemo situation and but we're going to be fine. Because my father was a pastor. So he was always positive, faith-filled man of God. And he literally kind of downplayed it. Right. So obviously when he's downplayed it, I'm downplaying. I'm like, oh, okay, God got that. We believe God. Right. And I remember because I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. And so he was in East Texas. I went to visit him one Christmas and he was talking about how, he's going to go natural. Right. He's not going to do chemo anymore. He's going to go natural. I noticed he had lost a lot of weight and he had been in the hospital a few times. They had done where they had cut some of his colon. He was wearing the, bag, bag. And, he was just like, everything is all is well. God got me. Right. But behind the scenes, I did not know he was preparing my brother who would take over the business, who we had owned several barbershops. And one day at work, because I had moved, I was in Georgia and outside of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And his wife called and was like, hey, you need to come home because I don't know how many more days he has.
Wow.
And I'm like, how many more days? That was like, what you mean? How many more days? I just saw him. What are you talking about? Yeah. And literally before I can get plane, flights together and get back to Texas, he had passed. It was
Oh.
the most devastating time of my life. And literally, and the worst part about it, I know my father was saved. I know exactly where he is. However, the worst part about this is that I know that it could be prevented. It's
Yeah.
because he just didn't know better, right? He waited
Right.
to the last minute and come to find out that he had, it was for, 4 or 5 stage,
Right.
it was later in the stage. And I
Mm.
didn't know, I didn't wasn't even educated about it. I didn't even know it was that far. I had no clue. They kept it all a secret. We did not know that that's what the case was, but it could have been prevented if he had a came forward when it was just a little.
Ditto. Yeah.
See what
So
I'm saying?
that's what Rose V. Johnson Colon Cancer Organization is all about, helping prevent early detection so that we could avoid these things happening. So again, I am so glad that you stayed on with me. And to our viewers and our family, thank you so much for your time. And I pray that you got something from this. I did, so I pray you did as well. So what we would like for you to do, is Barry would say, like, share, and subscribe. So we'll see you again next week. And Mr. Lawrence will
Business and more. Open up your mind when you walk through the door. Square off, come square off. Take a seat.